Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bree. Hi if you're new here, or hey if you've been here before. Today I'm going to try to break down my best interpretation of what beta reading is, because as I have been talking to more people and more writers, and especially newer writers, I realize that a lot of people get the idea of beta readers misconstrued. And sometimes they think that that's their next step when really they need to slow it down and take it to a different step before. So my goal is today to describe to you what a beta reader is, what it's not, and why I think I'm not a good beta reader. So let's start with the basics. When you're writing a novel and you finish, there's a few steps that you probably want to take before you even think about what the next step is. And really that's sitting on the novel, editing the novel, and maybe reading it through a few times. For everyone, this process is a little bit different, and sometimes you might try to get some early feedback, but for the most part, you really should at least look it over at least once and edit a little bit before you hand it off to someone else. Now, sometimes when I talk to people, I definitely hear that it's like, oh, well now, I'm going to have to edit it and then give it to beta readers. But I would caution and say, let's pump the brakes before you jump to beta readers. Because really, the first step that you really want to take is to find a critique partner. What do I mean by this? So a critique partner, and sometimes I also think they're called alpha readers, is someone who is going to take your work and really deconstruct it. They should be the ones to look at your work and judge, is the world building good? Is the character building good? Does the story itself make sense? They're not going to critique the value and fun level of your work. They should really be helping you with all the technicalities. A critique partner might say that your world building needs more effort or more work. They could say, I don't really understand the whole world. I don't understand the magic system. This religion seems to come out of nowhere, etc. They may say your dialogue needs work. I understand what you're trying to say here, but it doesn't sound realistic to the time period they're in or the age these characters are. A critique partner might also suggest that the whole prophecy you poured your heart and soul into actually really deteriorates from the story itself, and you may need to X that completely. They are the readers. Before anyone else sees it in the world, your critique partners are going to tell you if your novel is shit. But maybe very kindly and nicely. The reason I bring this up is because a lot of people will think that a beta reader is this person, and that's not the case. And when you ask for a beta reader versus a critique partner, people are going to assume you want something very different, and you might not get the same results. So for a critique partner, that's someone who is going to do some of that heavy lifting work. And oftentimes that's a person that is going to swap work with you. So for instance, I'm pretty good at dialogue. I might give my fantasy work to someone who's really good at world building to double check my world building because my dialogue's good. And in return, I might take their work and make sure that their dialogue is really good. And we kind of swap, and it's really a partnership. That's hence the title, critique partner. Your goal is to kind of grow as writers together and not just have a one and done relationship. This is also different from an ARC reader. ARC itself in the book community stands for Advanced Reader Copy. And when you're having an ARC put into the world, your book is essentially done. You're not making hard changes to this book anymore, other than maybe some spelling or grammatical issues. But when you get to the ARC phase, you have gone through every other step before. Critique partners, beta readers, sensitivity readers, editing, and more editing, and more editing, and you are about to publish your book. An advanced reader's copy is a way for your growth at this point. So you've put in the work and your book is ready to be published in a few months. Someone is going to get an advanced reader copy, and they're going to boost your sales, hopefully. They're gonna give you the hype, they're gonna give you honest reviews, and this is a way to kind of say, okay, maybe some early reviews aren't great, but that's what I need to work on in the next book, because this book is already done. But for the next book, I might want to take some of these opinions. Conversely, in a positive way, ARC readers will give you hype and give you that traffic to let your book be known to the world and hopefully get hype for future works down the road. So an ARC reader is after this is all done, and a critique partner is beforehand. So where does that leave beta readers? You guessed it, right in the middle. So a beta reader is someone who is going to give you good feedback on the story itself. At this point in the game, you've edited pretty well. You've gotten early feedback to try to make those bigger problem issues solved. So again, your world building, your dialogue, your character interactions. What you should be looking for in a beta reader is really to get some general feedback. So does the story flow really well? Does it make sense? Do you understand what the goal of this book was trying to tell you? Do you like the characters? Do you find the plot interesting? Is it boring? Does it lag in some places? Does a scene make no sense and feel like it came out of nowhere? These are more general concepts that a beta reader should be able to provide for you. Oftentimes, beta readers aren't always going to be writers themselves. And because of this, you have a better generalized to say, okay, you like a fantasy book, read this and tell me what you think. Because again, sometimes you can get valuable feedback from a beta reader as a reader. So here we go. Biggest difference. Critique partner is someone who you have a partnership with and who's going to work through a lot of your problems and any kind of issues that you have technically and with structure and plot. A beta reader is just that. They are a reader to kind of help you along and finish up any loose ends you might have. So when you're looking for a beta reader, you really want to make it clear they should not be editing your book and they should not be giving you really solid advice. I mean, maybe they can, but that's not their purpose. So when people say that they're looking for a beta reader, my mind instantly goes to, oh, you've already edited it and like swapped it with a few people. Like you're almost to your next steps of publishing it, hopefully. I want to make this distinction clear just because I think when I first got into the game, I really didn't know the difference between all of these, and I didn't even know advanced reader copies were a thing. That's a whole nother topic. But as I started getting more into this writing community and the book community, I realized that there are so many different layers to getting your book published. Even if you're not going a traditional publishing route and you're self-publishing, you should still be taking this time and these processes. So with beta reading in mind, like I said, the biggest thing is that they are just really, they're not picking it through with a fine-tooth comb. They're just reading it for their enjoyment level. Do they actually enjoy the book at the end of the day? Because if you're getting a ton of beta readers who are saying, yeah, this book is boring, that's not going to sell well for the general market then. And that might be something where now you have to go back, edit your book, and go back to talk to your critique partners. So as you can see, there's not really a symmetrical line of how this should work, but really sometimes you're going to be playing around. But critique partners should always come at least first, even if you have to go back to them. Beta readers, you can do the same thing, like they should come second. But if you have to keep editing, you can always have multiple rounds of beta readers. Be advised that when you have a beta reader, because a lot of times they are more readers than writers, you just might not get enough details that you are looking for, and that's why I suggest going to the critique partner. So I hope I explained that well enough, and now let me kind of tell you why I think I'm a shit beta reader. Because you might be wondering, well, you know a lot about it, so like why would that make you bad? Well, let me tell you. Somehow when I read other people's works that aren't published, because I'm not this bad once the book is published, I think again because at that point I'm becoming a reader. However, when someone's giving me something to read for the first time and they're asking for my feedback on it, my brain instantly flips to editing mode. And sometimes I can give good feedback by that of saying like, I don't really understand this, or this throws me off, but I literally cannot help but pick apart editing errors. So grammar and redundant sentences and redundant phrases and missed commas. I love to just play around in that. But the issue is that when someone's asking me to beta read, they're not asking me to edit. They're asking me for an honest feedback of, hey, does this work for you? And that's where I have a hard time detaching from. I don't know what it is, but before your book is published, I have such a hard time just learning to enjoy it. And my brain instantly is like, yes, let me fix all your problems. Which then makes me, I think, a much better critique partner, because that's where my forte is I can do that, as well as possibly offering some editing and grammatical issues. I probably would make a really good editor because I love editing this stuff, but in the grand scheme of things, when I go back to my definition of beta reading, I'm reading to give you honest feedback on whether I enjoy the story, and that brings me back to, well, I can't enjoy the story if there's these blatant grammar issues there. So this is why I personally don't think I'm a good beta reader. as I mentioned, I think critique partners and editors, that is much more in my wheelhouse, because I think when I have critique partners who are honest and willing to swap with me, I'm much more easier, like I feel comfortable. Like I'm not degrading anyone. I'm just saying, here, honest feedback, like this doesn't work, or yeah, this works great. And when they want me to edit their grammar, I could be like, oh, I'm in your wheelhouse. But just in reading it for fun, before it's actually published, it just really takes my brain a lot to get through it. And because of that, I'm then a really slow reader when I'm beta reading. A lot of people, when you're a beta reader, you have deadlines. Like they want to be able to publish their book as, you know, the author. But if I end up having to take 3 weeks just to read 2 chapters because I can't get over this whole fact, I'm not going to be effective for them. And unfortunately, I'm going to either slow them down, or they're just going to say, we're not wasting your time, even if I could offer productive feedback. So in the end, I don't think I'm a good beta reader. Hence why I really want to make sure that when I look for beta readers, and I've done this in the past, that I find people who really understand what a beta reader is. And I have vetted some people. I usually use Google Forms as in a survey, and I ask people what they think a beta reader is, because I've gotten responses where it said, I will correct your grammar, and that's not what a beta reader is. And unfortunately, it's not that I want to vet people out, but I need you to do the job I'm asking you to do. Hence why when people ask me to beta read, I'm like, I don't know if I'm the best choice for you, because I don't think I could do it. And that's more of like, I understand what they're looking for, and I just don't think I can offer it. So that really, I think, sums it up on my little rant about beta readers. I hope this was enlightening and it makes sense to you guys. I'm pretty confident that I understand what they are, and I hope that now that you guys might have watched this and you got a better understanding of what they are, means that you'll be able to take the right steps that you need for wherever you are in your process of writing and editing. If you have any questions about this topic, please let me know down below. As I've mentioned, I've already gone through 2 beta readings in the last couple years. I've found critique partners, and I've done the whole gambit. The only part that I really haven't gotten to is the ARC phase, because we're not publishing it yet. We need to get an agent. But overall, as far as critique partners and beta readers go, I have a decent amount of knowledge that I can impose. So let me know if you have questions. And if you are in the process of writing or creating, please let me know where you're at. Are you at a point where you are getting beta readers, and do you need some information on how to obtain them? If so, I have another video that I made already on that. But if you're also looking for critique partners, let me know, and I can maybe make a whole video on how you can find critique partners as well. So until next time, guys, I will see you then. Bye.